Hey guys, it's Mason, and this is Wrestling in the Dark, the only professional wrestling podcast brought to you by a blind wrestling fan. Today, I'm here with my NXT Takeover 25 review. Hot on the heels of AEW's Double or Nothing, it seems like all eyes were on Takeover this weekend, trying to see how it'd match up, trying to see if there'd be any responses. So, what happened? How good was it? If you want to find out, stick around as I take a look at NXT's Takeover 25 and see how it all panned out. A decent opening to the show, and I say decent, but it was far more than decent. I really enjoyed this opening match. It was Matt Riddle versus Roderick Strong, and I thought that was the right decision to make, opening the show with this match. That's what I would have done, because from there, whatever the outcome is, whether Matt Riddle wins or Roderick Strong wins, there's so many different ways they could go with the Undisputed Era storyline. So it really set the tone for the rest of the night, really started the drama of the night off with like an interesting angle of, oh, where will they go with this? Now, I really enjoyed this match because it flipped the face-heel dynamic on its head. Roderick Strong was the one with the real fast-paced offense, and Matt Riddle was the one on the back foot, and I really enjoyed that, because usually you've got the heel trying to keep the pace low, trying to really grind down their opponents and keep on top of them, but it was the opposite way around this time. Roderick Strong come out with the pedal to the metal and just did not let up the entire match, really keeping that high-paced offense going, and Matt Riddle was just constantly trying to look for a spot to get back on the offensive, and it really worked for me. It made the match feel dramatic and really drew me in, made me wonder how Riddle was going to turn it round. The story of the match, in a way, to me was far more interesting than just the in-ring action. I did enjoy all the in-ring stuff, because with these two competitors, with the level of talent that they've got, it's impossible not to enjoy a match like this. The commentary was doing a really good job. I never felt like I missed anything, with the exception of one thing towards the end of the match, but that was not their fault at all. I never felt confused. I never felt like I missed anything, and it was just really effective for me. The whole match was. The crowd was hot. I was getting really into it, and it was just a really decent start to the show. The story was Roderick Strong just trying to rob Matt Riddle of his core strength, constantly attacking the back and realigning the spine, as Morrow would say. They went to the outside early, and Matt Riddle hit a forearm off the steps, but as they fought, Roderick Strong drove Matt Riddle into the apron with back first, and it was a really loud bang when they hit the apron. Beth Phoenix was the bingo caller with the "That's the hardest part of the ring." I have to say this because we always say it when they're on the apron. It just made me laugh when she did it, because I did wonder, as they were sort of going out to the apron, who was going to say it. So Strong drove Riddle into the apron, and that was the start of his laser focus on the back of Riddle throughout the match, and that was the story. Riddle just constantly trying to find an opening and get back on the offensive, but every time Strong would just go back to the back and really wear him down, but not by being a heel and being slow, by just overwhelming him with how hard he was coming out of the gate. So let's get to a couple of my favourite spots. I really enjoyed, as they went for a back and forth encounter, Matt Riddle got Strong up in the fireman's carry, hit the GTS and the German suplex for a near fall. Roderick Strong hit a couple of step-up enziguris throughout the match. At one point he hit one and then hit two jumping knee strikes for a really hot near fall. The crowd was really into it, and I didn't buy into it fully, but I was like, oh, that was a really nice near fall. Riddle sort of turned it round at one point, and he was going for a senton, but Roderick Strong got the knees up right into the back, and then hit a powerbomb, and that was another really, really close fall, and that one got me a little bit more, I'd say. Then a little bit later on, Matt Riddle was looking for the bro mission, but he couldn't get it properly because his core strength had been robbed by how much punishment he'd taken to the spine, and he was looking for the elbows, and Roderick Strong took a lot of those nasty, nasty elbows that Riddle can throw out, that we've seen him knock people out with, and that's just it was a really nice spot for me because it makes Roderick Strong look very, very good. It makes him look strong, but it also really adds to the drama of the match because Riddle has less strength because of what Strong was doing, and I just enjoyed that dynamic. At one point, Riddle hit the flash knee strike that he hit Ono with to beat him, but Roderick Strong kicked out at 2, and those were just a few of the many, many really, really good spots in this. The commentary did a terrific job of keeping me up to date with what was going on in the ring. I never felt lost, never felt like I missed anything, with the exception of the finish of the match. I unfortunately, one of the drawbacks of living in a block of flats is that people have their lives too, and as I was watching this, my neighbour was screaming, and I just completely missed the finish of the match. I don't know what she was screaming about. It sounded like she was trying to do a Morrow impression, but but she just completely made me lose my attention for a second, so I missed what Riddle did for the finish. And then on the replay, they just said that he drove Strong into the centre of the mat and got the win, but it really didn't matter to me because I enjoyed all the lead up to it, and it was just that one little moment. Usually I'd complain if it was don't get me wrong, if it was the commentary's fault, I'd be complaining about it, because that's been a problem of mine recently with commentators not calling the finish of a match, but it wasn't their fault at all. So if anyone wants to let me know what Riddle did, that'd be nice. But like I said, back and forth action, real nice focused in work by Roderick Strong, and a really, really nice way to kick off the show. It was a strong 5 out of 6 match. Fatal 4-way tag team title ladder match next between the Undisputed Era, the Forgotten Sons, the Britt and Bruiser, Lorcan and Birch, and the Street Profits. This was a really, really good match. I thoroughly enjoyed it, but goddamn, is it hard to talk about this sort of match. It's so chaotic, there's so many different things going on that it's just really, really hard to talk about because of the way that I have to do these videos. There's no way that I could remember everything all at once, so I have to do these different segments. I have to stop the recording, go check my notes, and then come back and start again, and it's just really, really hard to try and memorize everything that happened, and I get it makes me really, really nervous when I have to do it, because it's just, I don't want to sound like an idiot, I don't want to get the spots wrong, but for the most part in this match I really didn't feel lost. The reason that I've got so many notes, which I have, is because there was so many spots called, there was so many things going on, and I've been trying to get a little bit better with not writing down all the nitty gritty. I don't need to write down every spot, every call that they make, but it's also hard because you don't know what's going to happen later on in the match. So something happens and you're like, oh, that's cool, I'll write that down, and then by the end of it you've done that a couple of times and you've got like 50-60 different things written down, and it just really makes me nervous when I have to cover this sort of match. There was just a lot of craziness. Now, just a couple of things that I want to talk about in terms of what I liked here. that wasn't just in-ring stuff. I guess it was, but like the story beats, etc. of the match, I thought were really, really nice. Undisputed Era came out, Fish and O'Reilly, really, really working sort of a face sort of style, and I found that really interesting because after Strong lost his match, there was a lot of different ways that they could have gone with this. I wondered, are Fish and O'Reilly going to win them tag titles, and Cole's going to win and Strong's going to get kicked out? I thought about it and I thought, oh well, Strong lost, what if Cole loses and Fish and O'Reilly still win and they're the ones with the belts? I thought that could have been quite interesting. So I was already really drawn into the match, and then the crowd was really, really behind Undisputed Era pretty much generally for the whole show. There was a very, very strong positive reaction towards them for this pay-per-view, and that really helped as well with that feeling of them. I sort of wondered whether it was almost a face turn for them, and that was really, really intriguing. O'Reilly in particular was just going absolutely crazy, taking bumps left, right and centre, whether it was from other people or as a result of a move that he was doing to people. He was just constantly getting hammered in this match. He was hitting missile drop kicks and etc, etc, and at one point he hit one and ended up sending himself onto back first onto the ladder. They were really working well as a team in this match, and I enjoyed that. Every time one of them would climb the ladder, the other would stay down at the bottom playing defense, blocking the other team's members from getting up the ladder to stop them. And I thought that was really, really clever. Nigel McGuinness made a big deal out of it, even with saying at one point that Lorcan and Birch both went up the ladder at the same time to go get the titles, and he was pointing out that that's not quite as clever as what Undisputed Era were doing. There was a really nice spot at one point with the Forgotten Sons up in electric chair positions, and Lorcan hit a flying uppercut, and someone else hit a blockbuster. I did miss who that one was. Bobby Fish was just doling out roundhouse kicks. Steve Cutler got flapjacked onto a ladder. There was just absolute craziness in this match that I really, really enjoyed, and I didn't particularly ever feel lost. There was a few little bits. There was a few lazy calls in terms of there was one point where Ford did something and Morrow was just like, oh, Ford is going for a flight, and that was a little bit annoying. And then there was one where it was like Bobby Fish did something and then he ended up landing on O'Reilly, and they didn't really say what happened. It was just like oh, what a nasty landing, look at how he just landed on his partner. And that those were really the only two things that I can think of that I was like, yeah, you could have maybe done a little bit better there. Jackson Riker came down to ringside, and he was really a difference maker in this match. I thought the little stretch where he came down was a really interesting part of the match. He comes down, he sends O'Reilly face first into a ladder, he chokeslams Birch, sends Ford flying, whatever that means, I guess, and then just proceeded to just lay everyone out. The commentary was like, this is hard to watch, what a vicious onslaught. And I guess they weren't necessarily calling it the most detailed and telling you everything that he was doing, but it was a decent enough story beat in terms of Riker being the leader of the Forgotten Sons, him being like the dangerous one out of the three of them, and him coming down and just laying waste to everyone. It was a decent enough story beat that I didn't necessarily mind knowing what he was doing, because I knew that he was just laying everyone out. It took 6 shots with a ladder to get him off his feet. I really like how strong they were booking him. It makes him seem really, really dangerous, and I think that in the coming months, Forgotten Sons could end up being a really, really strong tag team. I don't really care what other people think. I really enjoy their theme music, and I've enjoyed a lot of the matches that I've seen with them in, and I just really like that they're putting over Riker as a really dangerous leader, because it makes the whole faction feel more dangerous. The Undisputed Era unloaded on Riker with stomps at one point, and it was, the crowd literally did not stop. It wasn't like a load of different pops, it was just a long roar, like just a and it went on for a good 30 seconds. It was incredible. I really enjoyed it. At one point, the Undisputed Era and Lorcan and Birch were fighting on top of the ladder. The Forgotten Sons came and tipped them off, and then at the end of the match, as the Forgotten Sons were preparing to go up the ladder, I think Angelo Dawkins speared Blake, and then Montez Ford performed some sort of acrobatic feat. I'm guessing, now someone please tell me if I'm right, because the commentary didn't say, but I'm guessing that it was maybe like a springboard and managed to get right to the top of the ladder, because there was no oh, he's climbing. It was like a Montez Ford, ah! And then everyone was going crazy, and then next minute he'd pulled down the titles, and I just assumed that he must have just leapt right to the top of the ladder. And the Street Profits came out as your new NXT Tag Team Champions, and I was really surprised. I definitely thought that it was between Undisputed Era and those guys, and I was convinced that Undisputed Era were going to win this. It was the one. It was the one that I really thought was a lock. Even when Strong lost, I was like, no, Undisputed Era will still win this. But I don't mind Street Profits winning. One of the things that I enjoyed about this pay-per-view was that they were giving the stats for how many times people had been in pay-per-views, etc., etc. And I hadn't realised that Street Profits had not had a takeover match before this, so it was just a really nice moment for them. I actually quite enjoy the Street Profits. I've definitely been enjoying them as of late, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do with those tag belts, because this tag division at the minute is it's so stacked, and I'm just really looking forward to seeing where they go from it. It's so difficult to rate this sort of match, like I said, because it's just it's craziness, and I sometimes get a little bit carried away. I'm struggling to lock it in now. I'm trying to think. I've been trying to the entire time as I've been talking, but I'm gonna give it another solid 5. I'm trying not to be biased and too generous with the ratings, but I genuinely, these first 2 matches, I both thought they were like 5 out of 6 matches that just, with a few more extra crazy spots, could have been 6 out of 6. I genuinely didn't have any complaints about this match. There was few spots where I thought they could have done that a little bit better, but for the most part it was absolutely crazy, and I loved it, and that was a nice surprise, because I always expect to not enjoy these multi-man matches as much. So the fact that it was probably one of the best matches of the night, I mean, that's saying something, because this was a damn good show. But this was one of the best matches, and for me, with it being a multi-man match, that's a really nice surprise. So the Street Profits win in a solid 5 out of 6 match. The next match was probably my most anticipated match of the night, and let me tell you, it was a really good one. It was Tyler Breeze versus the Velveteen Dream for the NXT North American Championship, and it was everything that I wanted from it, to be honest. It's going to be hard to go too long on this segment, because it was just what I wanted from these two. If you are a fan of Tyler Breeze and Velveteen Dream, you will enjoy this match, because it was just what you wanted going into it. It was one-upsmanship. It was begrudging respect and jealousy and ego being played out, and I just really enjoyed it. Tyler Breeze came out with a brand new edge to him that the commentators were pointing over that we hadn't seen before. He seemed determined to win that NXT Championship. He just was constantly on the offensive, and I really liked that. Dream was constantly having to to try and counter him and get back on the offensive, and I thought it was really cool. One of the things I enjoy about the Velveteen Dream is he has really recognisable moveset. He always hits that double rope. He always hits that top rope double axe handle that he hit on Tyler Breeze at one point early in the match, and I enjoyed that. There was quite a few supermodel kicks throughout the match. One of my favourite spots was they were on the outside, and the Velveteen Dream was just smashing Tyler Breeze's head off the announce table, and it sounded really, really nasty. And then there was so many different things in this. I thought the commentary did really, really well. There was a really, really nice sequence where Tyler went for a diving crossbody. He got caught and the Dream rolled through. He couldn't hit the Dream Valley Driver, so he tried for the Dream's DDT, and got counted into a supermodel kick. I just thought it worked really well. At one point, the Velveteen Dream went for an unprettier, trying to utilise that move thief trait. I just thought it was really, really good. There's not much more to say when it comes to it. I didn't feel like it was a spectacular match, and it's hard with a match like this to... I guess it's just hard because you've had the first two matches have been so crazy and so fast and brutal that you bring it down to Dream versus Breeze, and they're both these flamboyant sort of characters, and it's more about what they're doing and the story that they're telling than what's going on in the ring. So it's just... Yeah, I just really, really enjoyed it, to be honest. I really enjoyed the fact that Breeze was just doing everything he could to try and win, and there was some really nice spots. Another few things, the Velveteen Dream went for a purple Rainmaker and didn't quite hit it properly, hit his elbow on Breeze's shin, and they tried to sell that as if like, oh, he didn't hit it properly, oh, got his elbow on the unforgiving bone of Tyler Breeze's shin, and I thought, well, that's still got to hurt Breeze's leg, surely. They pointed out that Breeze was bleeding from the ear at one point, and I was like, geez, how hard was he hitting his head into the announce table? But they were playing up that he could be having equilibrium issues and etc, etc. Towards the end of the match, there was a spot where they both ended up rolling to the outside, and there was a double count out spot. Breeze ended up having to break the count because he couldn't get Dream back into the ring. The Dream picked up his championship, went for attack Breeze with it, but Breeze got it off him. He threw it to the ref because he didn't want to get himself disqualified, trying to take the title out of play, and then he got hit with the Dream Valley Driver and the purple Rainmaker, and the Velveteen Dream retained his NXT NA championship. I give it a strong 4 out of 6. I probably, on another show, I probably would have given it higher, but this, with those first two matches being so strong and so great, I didn't think that this quite matched up to those. But that's not to say that I didn't enjoy it, because I thought it was a really, really good match, and I definitely, if you were a fan of these two, would say that you should go and watch it. There's not much to say because the commentary did a good job, and other than that, I just really enjoyed the story being told. So, Velveteen I'm absolutely messing myself up here. I don't know why, I'm just getting really tongue-tied. The Velveteen Dream retains. Shayna Baszler versus Io Shirai in a women's championship match. Really enjoyed this match too. It's the nature of Takeover. I enjoy Takeovers way too much to come and do a video like this and give you any criticisms, because honestly, I really didn't have anything about this show that I didn't like. It's difficult giving a balanced point of view when you enjoy a show this much. I am a huge fan of Shayna Baszler. I didn't want to see her lose this match, even though I had a sneaking suspicion that Io Shirai might win. But it was a really strong match. I thought that the story being told was really well done. Io Shirai looked really, really good. And again, it was just sort of everything that you wanted from it. I found it quite surprising in the finish, though. It started off with Io coming out, and she was wearing a mask to pay tribute to Rey Mysterio. She also hit a 619 later on in the match, which was a nice call from Morrow, who pointed out that it's called the Tiger Feet in Japan, which I've never heard before, and that was awesome. I really like that they pointed out that Io Shirai and Shayna Baszler had a history in the Japanese women's scene, and that Io Shirai came out on top with that. It was just the early moments of the match were Shayna Baszler trying to just ground Io Shirai, and then looking for that horrible arm stomp, that reality check, I think they were calling it, and eventually she did manage to hit it. And as you will know, if you've seen it before, where she does that spot, that just messes their opponent up for the rest of the match, and it really did with Io Shirai. Every time she was trying to do something, the fact that the arm was injured was really affecting her. At one point she went for a German suplex and she wanted the bridge, but she just couldn't do it because of her arm. And it was just a really nice showing from Io, who was slowly getting more and more frustrated throughout the match that she couldn't get it done. She was out for revenge for a friend, and I just thought it made her look really, really relatable, really, really likeable. She hit a baseball slide at one point. At one point she hit a springboard drop kick. Baszler rolled out of the ring, so she hit a moonsault on her. Then it was just all sort of crazy from there, I guess. She got a crossface at one point on Baszler, but Baszler managed to get out. Duke and Shafir came down, but Candice LeRae came out and laid them both out with the kendo sticks. Then there was this crazy sequence that I couldn't possibly tell you what went on in it, but it was back and forth and a really crazy sequence, but it ended with the Kirifuda clutch being locked in. She was looking for it throughout that whole exchange, like she's trying to get the Kirifuda clutch. Io does something to counter. She's looking for it again. Io counters, and then eventually managed to get it locked in. And then she was in for a really long time, and I was like, she's gonna get out, she's gonna get out, she's gonna get out, and then she passed out, and it was like, oh, that's it. But the crowd really was not pleased about this finish. I think they were expecting Io to get out as well, and they really didn't respond. It was a quite an audible boo, but it wasn't like a boo you heel sort of thing. It was like a boo sort of one. But I didn't mind it too much. I thought that it makes Shayna just look unstoppable, and I think that's fine. At the end of the day, that in NXT they're trying to build up the prestige of those belts. It really helped the championship, and helped Asuka with her having such a dominant run. And whoever beats Shayna is going to get a massive rub from her now. And whoever beats her is going to look amazing. If Candice is the one to finally dethrone her, that's going to be massive. She's going to be a really over face at that point. Whoever beats her is just going to get a ton of face heat from that. Like I said, I thought that the commentators did a fairly good job during this match. Again, never felt lost, never felt like I missed anything. Enjoyed the in-ring action and the story being told. Felt it was fairly short, but other than that, I really enjoyed it. Again, another as close as it gets to a 5 out of 6, but it's still gonna go with a high 4. It was so close to being a 5, and I think end, or if they'd have had like 5 more minutes, it probably would have been up to a 5. But the fact that after Baszler had picked up the win, Io Shirai snapped and she was like unloading on her with the kendo stick, but then she did something else and they were like, oh no, this is too far, you don't need to do that. Oh, as if she's going to do this. And whatever she did left Baszler just prone in the ring, just lying in there, and it was a little bit disappointing. I thought they really dropped the ball with that one. That's probably one of my only criticisms of the whole show, in terms of the other bits that I've mentioned, like in the matches where they didn't call something, wasn't necessarily even out of laziness. There was just so much going on that it was like, I need to do this call quick, and everything that was going on just made up for it. But this was the one thing where I was like, oh, you really dropped the ball there. I want to know what Io Shirai did, and you didn't tell me. And after you've just made Shayna Baszler look so dominant, I really need to know what that spot is. If you're going to act like it's going to take Shayna Baszler out of the mix, going to leave her that prone in the ring, then you need to tell me what it's going to do. So yeah, had it been 5 minutes longer, or had they actually called that correctly, then it probably would have been a 5 out of 6, but it's a really strong 4. The NXT Championship was defended next. Johnny Gargano defending against Adam Cole. Oh man, this match, it just incredible. I really loved this match. I really love Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano in the ring together. It's a boiling pot for just absolute craziness, and a completely different style, completely stands out from all the rest of the matches on the card. And I really liked all of the other matches, and then somehow this was just miles and miles away the far better match. It was just welcome to a match that is between two people, a singles match that I find almost as hard to call as as a multi-man one. This is on that level of crazy where I was watching Double or Nothing, where I was like, I can't keep up with this. How am I going to cover this? Like, as I'm watching it, I'm like, how am I going to talk about this on the podcast? Because there's so much going on. But regardless of what I have to say in terms of the spots, etc., you should just go and watch this match. It's a 6 out of 6 match. It's spoilers for the end of the segment, but I'm just in awe of how good this match was. One of my only knocks to Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano as a concept, I guess, is that they are so crazy and they do so much that it almost robs the tension a little bit. There was quite a few times in this match where there was something that would happen that, you know, if it's within the first 10-15 minutes or so, you're like, yeah, this isn't over yet. There's no way they're getting the pinfall off that. And it's just stuff that you would usually assume that they were going to get a win off. At one point, Adam Cole he got Johnny Gargano up in the torture rack position, hit the burning hammer, but then transitioned at the end into a face crusher, and then that he got a near fall for that. And I was like, that move wins a match. If this is any normal human being, that move wins the match. And both of them just can absorb so much punishment that it's just unreal. Both men really trying to work over a limb in this match, which I really liked. Cole was trying to go for Johnny's knee. Johnny was going for Adam's arm. He hit a double stomp to Adam's arm at some point, and then after that he was constantly trying to work it. He had a cloverleaf locked in with a hammerlock at some point. There was so many different things. Oh man, one of the best spots of this match that made me absolutely mark was Cole going for a chop block and Gargano just countering by doing a double stomp on the back of his neck. I was like, oh my god, he's dead. It's just this whole match was just so crazy, and there was so many different things. There was a Panama sunset on the outside at one point that was really nice. Adam Cole hit an Ushigoroshi on the outside and then one on the inside for a really nice near fall. At one point he hit a last shot, and I thought it was really over. I thought the match was over there. I'm really struggling to think of what came before the last shot, but I know that there was definitely it was definitely a really crazy sequence. There was some arguing on the outside at some point, and the ref got taken out. Cole was arguing with the ref, and Gargano went for the suicide dive, took out the ref, and from then on it sort of went a little bit crazy. Gargano got the near fall, not the near fall, he got the visual pin on Cole, and that was, again, this is one of those things that I guess you can level the criticism for these two, because Gargano takes out the ref, and then he, as Cole's about to go for him with a chair, Gargano hits a super kick and super kicks the chair into the face of Cole, and that's when he gets the visual pin. And I'm like, really? After everything that's happened in this match, after everything that they've hit each other with in the past and in this match, are you really going to try and tell me that Cole could have lost this with a simple super kick to the face? I know it's a super kick with a chair to the face, but I guess that just seems less impactful when you've got all the other stuff. Gargano went for a suicide dive at one point, and Adam Cole was in what was probably the only dropped call of the match. It was like Gargano went for the suicide dive, and the commentary said that Cole near enough destroyed his face. I don't know. It was a counter. I assume probably a super kick or something like that. But they didn't say what move it was, and they just said that he nearly destroyed his face. There was so many cool things in this match. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I never felt lost. I was just constantly into it, and it was just really, really great. And then the shocker of the night, I guess it was the shocker, Cole picked up the win, and it was just, here's why it was surprising. Okay, so Roderick Strong loses. I'm like, okay, this could still be the storyline that I said. Cole could still possibly lose this match. But as soon as Undisputed Era didn't win the ladder match, I was like, Adam Cole's winning this, isn't he? Like, because there was no way that they were going to make the whole Undisputed Era lose. I felt like, with the story that they've been telling, with the tension between them, someone had to win. So I was like, Adam Cole's going to win, isn't he? And then considering that he's the only person that got a special entrance the entire night, with someone coming out and rapping over the Undisputed Era theme, which sounded really, really good. I really enjoyed it. I thought it really fit in with the vibe of the Undisputed Era theme, and Cole's character. Just thought it worked really well. But it sort of advertised that Cole was going to pick up that win, and I just, with that sort of thing, I almost wish he just hadn't done it. He should have given Gargano a special entrance and thrown me off the scent. Although if they'd have done that, I'd have probably said that, oh yeah, I could tell that you were just trying to throw me off the scent. I don't know. I guess I just felt like a little bit like it was being spoon-fed. But other than that, I did think that it was a real shock to me. The real shock to the system, though, was that it was a clean win. Because as Cole was... At one point, Cole signalled for the Undisputed Era to come out, and no one did. So as Gargano was getting ready for them to come out, Cole nailed him with a move, and I thought, that's really interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing how they play that, because now, was that Cole playing mind games? Did he signal for the Undisputed Era and just they didn't come out? Were they just not in the mood to come and help him? Is he out on his own, or was it a fake out? And then, so having no help from the Undisputed Era, when he then hits the Panama Sunset and the last shot at the end and picks up the win, I was like, oh my god, he's just done it clean. Like, the entire story for this feud has been, you can't beat me on your own. You are a chicken shit that needs your friends to come out and fight your battles for you, and you'll never beat me on your own. Tell the truth. You know that that's the truth. And he picks up the win clean, and I just thought it was absolutely brilliant. Johnny, it's a shame for Johnny, and and it makes him look a little bit stupid because he's been talking all that trash saying that Cole can't beat him on his own, and then he did. But in what was such a crazy, crazy match that both men took so much punishment in and had so many spots in it, I just thought that it made him look really, really good, and I'm looking forward to seeing the reign of Adam Cole, baby. He was so over in this match, actually. Just before I get to the end of the segment, Gargano was heavily, heavily booed during the championship title announcement. I always really like the separate corner announcement bit, and I really like the announcer for tonight. Actually, I think it was her first show. I think I heard Morrow say, but the crowd was really, really behind Adam Cole, and they went absolutely mental when he won, and it was just a really, really crazy, immense match that it was just a 6 out of 6, and you have to go and watch it. A great, great main event that will kick off what will be. You've got to love technology cut me off at the end of that segment there, but luckily I was actually finished, so screw you, tech. Those were my thoughts on NXT's TakeOver 25, a really strong 5 out of 6 show that I would definitely recommend you go and watch. I loved every match, had an incredibly good time, it zipped by, so go and watch it. I would love to know what your thoughts were if you have already watched them, so drop them in the comments down below, and I'll be back with a Monday mix-up episode tomorrow, so if you want to catch that or any future episode of WITD, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notify bell. Don't leave yourself out in the cold. Let's have a conversation. Right guys, I'm off, and you should have a good one.